Right, I might recognise this hedge, Zara. This lane. The fields. The hedge. I used to clip. And here we have Ruhamah. And Ruhamah, they've got new gates. They've got new fencing all the way down, look. New windows. And they've got like a conservatory on the back. Much better that is. Somebody must have bought it in the end, look. That's what it needed. Thistledown was next door. This place is still the same, look. There's Ruhamah. I can't see the satellite dish on that we got put on. But here we are, Zara. Remember reversing into this. Yeah, they got the gates now, look. About time they'd done something with it. The bloke, I can hear the lawnmower guy, he's always cutting his grass. And there's the dustbin up there, Zara, look. The dustbin. Lower Green Cottage, this place. It looks different, doesn't it? It looks like a council house. Used to look a lot more oldie-worldy in the past. Oh yeah, they've got a little fence here now, look. That's where we had the paddling pool there. Those stones are still there. Ah, interesting, isn't it? Don't know if they're still there. Some people. This is going down the lane. Hear it? He's always cutting his grass, this bloke. Oh yeah, they've got a little gate on the back. Look, my little gate's gone. Shed's still there, and then they've got another shed. The bungalow. Hark. They spend all their life cutting these lawns. That lot up there. This is the field, Zara. We walked with Bran. Trees are still there. That's where they had dumped that nasty smelling stuff. Yeah, going on the communal, Bran. Where are you? Look, Bran. Going on a communal. Yeah, like you're dipping yours alive. You're doing it in spirit world. I know it sounds weird that I'm doing that, but I love that dog so much. She used to love coming in the van with me. And It's worth videoing this walk. We never had, well, Zara did have a video, it was a big one though. Yeah, there's no trouble with it around here, it's full of ticks. So if I get bitten I won't be so surprised. I won't be at all surprised at all. I'm not doing a hell of a lot of walking. I slept like a log this morning. I slept in the field. There's Alberta, look. There's Alberta right in the field over there, look. There she is. They'll be watching us. The hills of eyes. I'm bringing this back. This turns out this video. I always think I'm never going to come back, but something always brings you back. I mean, it was 6 months, right? But it seemed like 6 years I was here. I fell in love with the place. Not particularly, I suppose, this particular area, but it was all tied up with my family tree. And I used to spend many a walk here, following losing my home. I got very little back, really, after paying everyone off. And we came here. It was a retreat. It was called Ruhamah, the house. And I seen it as a retreat. I needed it badly. It was we just couldn't stay. It was £600, or was it 700? Yeah, I think it was £700 a month I paid for 6 months. That's £4,200 roughly I paid to live in here. For 6 months I used that amount of money, and that didn't include the bills on top. You know, water, gas, electric. So I've seen foxes here in the past. They've obviously planting proper trees, so I look at it. This is going to be unless they're going to turn it into a cemetery, of course. Plant the trees and then have a burial place. I mean, this is a sort of ideal place to have a cemetery out here, isn't it? They don't look like apple trees. Anyway, every evening we used to do what's called the communal walk. And we used to come up this track, and they used to love it, Brandy and Louis. Louis started getting disturbed. Couldn't always let him off until we get past the house because he used to chase the car. That's big wheels used to make a real rumble noise, like a monster to him probably, on the track over there. And so he had to be kept on a very long lead. I can't remember if we could let, but I think Zara was always very cautious, even with Brandy, so I think she might have been on lead as well. We might have let them off further up, I think, for a little while, because Louis used to like running in the broad beans, and we'd seen deer here as well, and we'd seen deer. He used to go chasing after them, but he got attacked by ticks. Louis did. I don't know if we ever found any on Brandy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Louis didn't die of something, or he was born with something. I don't know. He wasn't very well. He was a very fit dog. He could never run very well, and he used to get wheezy. That's one thing I noticed about him. That looks wider than usual, but you could hear the rumble of the dustbins along here when it was dustbin day. They used to have to, the council wouldn't come. They used to have to trundle up here with their dustbins, but I mean, that might have changed now. And up here was the old railway station for Little Well Neatham, part of it anyway. And the old cottages of which I've got photographs of. I think I've even got a couple of old pots I rescued from the garden. But that was rubbleised, and they built big posh executive homes here. Of course, I used to call this part of the country the prairie, because it's very open. When you get further up, it's very open, and you can imagine a dust storm or a whirlwind or a tornado hurtling across. And they built these homes. Somebody lived in there. I don't think he had anything to do with the farm. That looks more open than it used to. And it looks older now. He used to have a silver van. Might still be in there. It looks older now. It's become settled. It was quite new when they first had it. So you could even probably drive and park up here. There's loads of these areas which were old barns once, you see, for storing hay and that. I can still see a little bit left of the railway cottage, a bit on the end. And of course there's a great big estate in there, a big country mansion that was owned by the Oaks. The Oaks that owned or formed Barclays Bank, or Lloyd's, one of them. I can't remember if it was Barclays or Lloyd's. I think it was Barclays. I can't remember. But it was a sign of the oak anyway. So they lived there. The Oak family used to live there. And they also lived up the road a bit as well by the church. Through those trees there. It's a big mansion. Now this bit here, I'll just zoom in. This is all that's left of the... This bit on the end, these two little buildings, especially this one on the end, it looks most like the railway cottage. It's all that's left now, and they've built these huge big houses. Or, well, a huge big house. I thought there was more than one, but maybe I was anticipating more than one. There used to be a cottage there and a little rough garden. And I think I used to go inside, and there used to be a path through that garden. A public footpath, but you've probably got to walk round now. So I might recognise this bit. Yeah, there used to be a footpath that went through there and through the woods as well. That's all left are of the railway bit that was here. The cottage is gone. This little island, if you like, is still here, where there used to be the wild garden and the old buildings. And then we used to walk, you can either walk all the way up that way, or you can walk all the way up and back round that way. And this is what I used to call the prairie out here. All this used to be the prairie. Looks like they're growing barley now. It used to be broad beans. Yeah, so that house there is on the site of the old railway. These trees probably still here. They were here before. They couldn't have grown that quick. I think these would have been perhaps a bit smaller. And once again, I'll have it on photograph. I will have it all on photo. And that's the other part of the path round. It looks broader. And there's the woods over there. Right over there, some woods, a copse of woods. Now on the day Jolene went into labour with Lucy, I was in those woods with Louis. And there's some deep ditches in there, and I actually got trapped for a few minutes. As she rang, I was stuck in this ditch. Right, I'm just going to turn off for a minute and continue shortly so I can take some photographs. Over and out for a minute. I'll just zoom in on that cottage. on the end there, because that's all that's left